Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. Today, we'll be exploring a very important topic, the succession planning revolution in corporate India. The title of our session is The Succession Planning Revolution in Corporate India, published on December 4th, 2025. Over the next few minutes, we'll look at why this news is a must-learn for students, faculty, and industry stakeholders alike. We'll examine how Indian organizations are transforming their approach to leadership continuity and the remarkable growth in succession planning maturity, from 27% to 78% in just 1 year. This is truly a watershed moment, signaling the professionalization of talent management across the country. So, let's dive in and understand what this means for all of us. Let's start by looking at some key changes in how organizations are promoting their CXOs. Now, more often than not, these top executives are being promoted from within the company. In fact, about 1 in 2 CXOs now come from internal promotions, which is nearly double what previous benchmarks showed us. This indicates a significant shift in talent strategy, emphasizing the importance of nurturing leadership from within. Moving on to success rates, organizations that have structured succession processes in place are seeing a success rate of 51%. That's more than half, and it highlights how formalized planning can really make a difference. Furthermore, about 78% of organizations now have formal succession plans. This is a remarkable development, showcasing a strategic focus on talent continuity and leadership pipeline management. All these points together reflect one of the most significant shifts we've seen in corporate governance and talent strategy in recent history. According to Deloitte's 2025-26 Talent Readiness Study, this trend demonstrates unprecedented growth in the maturity of succession planning across Indian organizations. So the numbers tell a compelling story. This is a dramatic transformation in how companies are preparing for the future leadership needs. It's a clear move towards more intentional, strategic talent development. Now, let's turn our attention to building robust pipelines for operational leadership, which is a key focus across various sectors. Starting with manufacturing, we see that 75% of organizations are prioritizing leadership continuity. This highlights how critical it is to have a steady pipeline of capable leaders to ensure smooth operations and sustained growth. In the healthcare sector, the emphasis is even stronger, with 80% focusing on leadership continuity. Healthcare organizations recognize that strong leadership is vital for maintaining quality care and navigating the complexities of the industry. Moving to life sciences, we find that 84% are leading the way in formal succession planning maturity. This indicates that the industry is ahead when it comes to structured approaches to developing future leaders, ensuring innovation and resilience. Lastly, in the services sector, we see a sector-wise perspective on leadership, highlighting who's actually leading the charge in developing and maintaining leadership pipelines. Connecting all these points back to our overall theme, it's clear that across different industries, building solid leadership pipelines isn't just a good practice. It's a strategic imperative for sustainable success. Let's take a closer look at how we can address the high turnover rates we're seeing among millennial and Gen Z leaders, particularly in family businesses. This is a critical challenge because these generations are now shaping the future of leadership, and retaining them is essential for long-term success. Preparing for these generational shifts means building strong bench strength, developing future leaders from within the organization, and creating clear career pathways. When employees see a future for themselves and understand how they can grow, they're more likely to stay engaged and committed. Nurturing internal talent becomes even more vital during leadership transitions. We need to ensure that operational momentum isn't lost and that strategic direction remains steady, even as new leaders step into their roles. This brings us to ensuring seamless continuity. It's about avoiding those sudden leadership vacuums that can disrupt business operations or shake stakeholder confidence. Planning ahead and having a solid succession plan in place makes all the difference. And finally, it's about mitigating leadership risk. The strategic imperative here is clear. Why now is the right time to act is because the cost of inaction could be significant. By proactively managing these transitions, we safeguard the stability and growth of our organizations for the future. Let's take a closer look at some of the most effective tools organizations are using to build their talent pipelines. Job rotations and stretch assignments stand out as particularly impactful. They give employees valuable experience across different roles and challenges, helping develop a versatile and capable workforce. Interestingly, despite these proven strategies, AI adoption remains surprisingly low. This gap presents a huge opportunity for innovation. Organizations that can harness AI effectively could significantly enhance their talent development efforts. As we move forward, it's clear that building a strong leadership development arsenal is crucial. By combining traditional methods like rotations with new technologies, companies can create a more dynamic, resilient, and future-ready talent pipeline. Now, let's take a closer look at the core of our succession planning process. First, it's essential to recognize that regular evaluation of readiness levels and capability gaps across the pipeline is fundamental. This ongoing assessment helps us identify where we stand and what areas need strengthening. Moving on to continuous assessment, we see that about 72% of organizations update their succession plans based on long-term business strategies and market dynamics. This means they're not just planning for today, but aligning their talent development with future needs, which is crucial for staying competitive. Next, strategic alignment plays a vital role. Around 89% of organizations actively develop individuals identified as successors through targeted programs. This proactive approach ensures that potential leaders are prepared to step into critical roles when the time comes. Furthermore, only about 40% of organizations are proactively spotting high-potential leaders for key roles. This highlights a significant opportunity for many to improve their early identification processes, ensuring they're not missing out on developing future leaders. All these points tie back to the overall theme. A structured, strategic approach to succession planning is vital for organizational resilience and growth. By continuously evaluating, aligning strategies, developing talent, and identifying high-potential individuals early, we build a strong pipeline capable of meeting tomorrow's challenges. Let's take a closer look at some of the critical gaps that demand our attention. First, participation in development initiatives has declined slightly, dropping from 60% to 57%, and we've also seen reductions in mentoring programs. This suggests that fewer people are engaging in these growth opportunities, which can hinder leadership development. At the same time, we're observing a decline in executive education, which is concerning because it limits the access to external expertise and new perspectives that are vital for innovation and strategic thinking. Another key point is our over-reliance on internal talent. Currently, only about 9% of organizations leverage artificial intelligence for predictive succession analytics. That's a surprisingly low number, considering how AI could help us identify and develop future leaders more effectively. This leads to the issue of AI underutilization, an area with significant potential that remains largely untapped. We also see persistent gaps in succession readiness at the C-suite and board levels. These leadership voids can pose serious risks to continuity and strategic agility. Lastly, only 22% of organizations globally benchmark their leadership practices against best standards. Most are still focused internally, missing out on valuable external insights and best practices that could elevate their leadership development efforts. All of these points highlight critical gaps that we need to address to ensure stronger, more resilient leadership pipelines for the future. Future HR managers, it's essential that they master a few key areas to be truly effective. These include coaching, designing job rotation programs, and developing clear leadership pathways. These skills are crucial because they help build a strong, adaptable talent pipeline. When we talk about internal promotions, we're really highlighting a powerful strategy. Promoting from within not only cuts down on hearing costs, but it also boosts employee morale and enhances retention. People feel valued and see a clear future for themselves within the organization. Cost optimization is a big focus for HR today. By promoting internally, organizations can save money and also foster a more committed, engaged workforce. And then there's succession planning, which has really evolved over time. It's no longer just an administrative task. It's a strategic imperative, something that drives organizational resilience. It ensures that we are prepared for the future with the right leaders in place when we need them. All of these points connect to our overall theme. HR needs to be strategic, forward-thinking, and focused on developing our people to ensure long-term success. Now, let's talk about the growing importance of formal succession planning. Boards are increasingly mandating this process, recognizing that transparency around leadership readiness not only boosts investor confidence, but also helps ensure regulatory compliance. When companies are open about their leadership pipelines, it reassures stakeholders that they are prepared for future challenges. Moving on, there is a significant opportunity here for HR consulting firms, AI-driven leadership analytics platforms, and capability assessment solutions, especially in the Indian market. This white space presents a chance to offer innovative tools and services that support organizations in building and maintaining strong leadership pipelines. Why does this matter from a strategic perspective? Succession risk is a major source of exposure for organizations. If leadership gaps aren't addressed proactively, it can lead to vulnerabilities during crises. Conversely, companies with robust leadership pipelines tend to be more resilient in difficult times and often outperform their competitors during market disruptions. So, from a strategy lens, it's clear that investing in succession planning isn't just about internal talent management. It's a critical component of overall resilience and competitive advantage. Ensuring cross-functional perspectives on this topic helps us see its full impact, from governance to market positioning. In summary, integrating succession planning into your strategic approach strengthens your organization's stability and demonstrates a forward-thinking leadership mindset that resonates with investors and regulators alike. As we look at the future of corporate India, it's clear that there's a fundamental shift happening in how organizations approach building leadership continuity. Understanding this transformation is crucial, not just for business leaders, but also for HR professionals and strategic advisors who are shaping tomorrow's organizations. One of the most critical points is the strategic alignment between succession plans and overall business goals. This isn't optional anymore. It's non-negotiable. When succession planning is closely tied to what the business aims to achieve, it ensures that we're developing leaders who can drive growth and adapt to change. Another key aspect is providing cross-functional experience through rotations. This approach is among the most effective development tools because it broadens leaders' perspectives and prepares them to handle complex, multifaceted challenges. However, despite these advancements, many organizations still underutilize external benchmarking and global best practices. Leveraging these sources can offer fresh insights and innovative approaches that give us a competitive edge. Additionally, AI and predictive analytics are emerging as the next frontier in leadership development and succession planning. They have the potential to transform how we identify future leaders and anticipate organizational needs with greater precision. Finally, the maturity of succession planning itself has become a differentiator in the competitive landscape. Organizations that develop sophisticated, forward-looking succession strategies are better positioned to thrive in an increasingly dynamic environment. So, the key takeaways for tomorrow's leaders are about embracing these shifts, aligning strategies, leveraging new tools like AI, and continuously evolving our approach to leadership development. The road ahead is about staying adaptable and innovative in how we prepare for the future.